Sometimes you've got to remember the purpose, your purpose, and become a bit more just aware of yourself every now and then, because in this day and age there are so many external influences that can set you back.
It's kind of like going to the gym, once you get into a routine, it's so great, and then there'll be that one weekend where you're not able to go, and that'll throw everything out the window.
In order to progress, you need to look back on your journey. So sometimes it's important to go back and just remember.
Hello and welcome to the Modern Day Spirituality Podcast by Manav Dharam, a podcast dedicated to those in search of spiritual awareness and insight. We'll be speaking to many people from different corners of the world and sharing their insights and thoughts on spirituality. My name's Kavi, and today's topic, we're speaking all things around your spiritual journey. I've got two great guests in the room with me today. We've got Sohini and Chandni. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm sure you guys had good trips down here to get into the studio.
Sure did.
Yeah,
Not
good.
too bad,
Awesome. So we'd like to just kick off with a couple of introductions. Sohini, do you want to kick off and just introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, I'm Sohini. I'm based in the East Midlands, and thank you for inviting me today.
Awesome. And Chandni?
Hi, my name's Chandni. I'm based in London, 30 years old. Excited to be here.
Great. Thanks for both coming on board. We're talking all things your spiritual journey. So it'll be great to hear some insights from the pair of you in terms of how you've gone in your spiritual journeys and where you are to date. So I guess it'd be great to hear where your spiritual journey is to date, Sohini. How have you come from? Where have you come from? How's it going in terms of your spiritual journey?
It's going. It's been, sometimes it feels like your spiritual journey's a long journey.
Sure.
But there are moments that come up that seem to be a bit of a quicker pace, and you feel like a bit more fulfilled at that point in time. But then the journey starts again, or something comes along, and so it's an interesting one. It's not an easy one.
Sure.
It's you've got to, I guess, remain. Sometimes you've got to remember the purpose, your purpose, and become a bit more just aware of yourself every now and then, because in this day and age there are so many external influences that can set you back, and then to bring yourself back onto your spiritual journey. So it's not an easy one, but it's going. It's going.
And Chandni, on your end, how's yours going?
I completely agree with you. It's such an up and down journey. It's kind of like going to the gym, once you get into a routine, it's so great, and then there'll be that one weekend where you're not able to go, and that'll throw everything out the window. So I think for me, it's just about keeping at it, trying to avoid all the external factors, and keeping up with a habit. I think they say, 21 days it takes to form a habit, or was it 70 something days? One of them. But I think you have to try and form a habit and really keep at it for you to reap the benefits.
I guess you've both spoken there about those external factors. I'm going to dive straight in there. What are you doing to almost combat those external factors on your personal journey?
I think it's hard to avoid them. It's hard to shut the doors, and you've got to embrace it. And I think work with it. So for example, social media is such a powerful and distracting tool for everyone. You can spend hours scrolling on Instagram, TikTok. I've deleted my Facebook account because it was just too much. But so I think it's but then it's also about being selective in what you might want to follow. And that helps. I think sometimes just scrolling through Instagram and coming across something that is a bit more meaningful to you, really helps, and it helps to reinforce your own journey.
Yeah.
So I think as I've progressed in my journey, I think I'm just a bit more mindful in terms of what I choose to see, and what I choose not to see,
It's being that selective,
and what serves
person,
me. Yeah, what serves me. So yeah,
it's being more sort of personalised to what's improving what you're trying to achieve, right?
Absolutely. But then I feel that also the people that you surround yourselves with as well. It's, you know, there are some people who's, you know, you may be a friend or a relative, but their opinions differ to yours, which again is fine. That's not a problem, but it's just, you know, but also being mindful of their thoughts as well. And if they don't serve you, then just you learning how to not let that affect you, and you know, respecting their thoughts, and then, you know, moving on.
Yeah, definitely. I guess, Chandni, over to you. In terms of your spiritual journey, what are you actually looking for from your spiritual journey, I guess?
That's a really hard question because my spiritual journey has only really just started. I think it probably, I would say, probably just over a year, I would say, because I kind of married into it, I would say. I wasn't even aware that I was spiritually aware, or I was looking out for anything spiritual, up until it kind of came across me when I got married. My husband's family were very heavily involved with Manav Dharam. So it kind of just opened up the doors, and I was very open to it, to get to know, get to understand, you know, what it was about. You know, I was skeptical at first, you know, because even when I was growing up, my parents never watched, I don't know if anyone watches Asta TV, but they never even watched any of that. So
that was like a religious TV network, was it?
Yeah, but they touch upon sort of spirituality and all things related, but they never really even watched that. So for me, it was all really brand new. So I think my spiritual journey just started. I'm still learning so much, trying to absorb as much as possible. So yes, it's kind of really still going, still very brand new.
I guess referring to Chandni's point there, do you think, Sohini, that being, say, brought up in a family that is quite spiritually inclined or involved, do you think that has a real positive impact, or can it go the other way?
It depends on how you receive that.
Sure.
I've grown up in a religious spiritual family, so I went to the mandir practically every day with my grandparents when I was, you know, younger, before school. And then we've always had some form of I don't know, upbringing where we were just for me, I've been introduced to things that I think, like, my spiritual journey has kind of fallen into place because I've had those stepping stones. So like going to mandir, and the
mandir is the temple, right?
Yeah, the temple, and then reading or listening to scriptures every now and then, and the history of a bit more, you know, delving into history a bit more. I mean, I remember growing up where the Mahabharata and the Ramayana were played on, well, I think it was the Mahabharata that was played on Channel 4.
Okay.
And that felt like, okay, we're being represented. Back in those days, you didn't have Sky TV. You had like your main like 5 TV channels. So, you know, having Mahabharata play on the TV, and that helped to reinforce your identity in some way or another.
So you're saying the Mahabharata as a Hindu scripture?
That's correct. And then being introduced to Manav Dharam and Satpal Maharaj, and I feel like I think for me, they've been stepping stones, and so my spiritual journey, there's one thing's just led to another. I mean, I feel that sometimes for me, it's important to be reflective and look back as well, because sometimes you can forget, like you can be on that journey and you think you're going forwards, but you've stopped. And I think in order to progress, you need to look back on your journey. So sometimes like it's important to go back and just remember things, and it helps to put, you know, your journey in perspective.
Okay,
yeah.
great. I guess moving on to more, you spoke about Manav Dharam, the organisation, and how important is that to you on your spiritual journey, Chandni?
Oh, it's massively important because, you know, that's my one source of information. You know, I go to Satsang, so discourses where we'll have Baiji or Maharaj who will talk about, you know, how to walk on this journey to be able to get to your true enlightenment. So they provide me with that information for me to be able to get to that point.
And Baiji is a disciple of Guru Maharaj, who provides also spiritual discourses, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, I think for me, going into Manav Dharam has opened all these doors, but they also show me, guide me through my journey. So, you know, I think without it, I'd be a bit lost almost.
And when you say guide, how do you see Manav Dharam guiding you in that sense?
Well, so, you know, through the discourses that we have, you know, they will show you, well, they'll tell you day to day, you know, what kind of, I think for me personally, it's me being able to manage my emotions almost. So,
Sure.
you know, there'll be times where, like, even in my day-to-day work, I'll just have one of those days where I need to take a break. I'll go outside and, you know, I will just sit in meditation, even if it's just 5 minutes. You know, we've been shown the techniques of how to meditate, and it's just helped me calm my mind. But then also it helps me to relieve those feelings of anxiousness at times as well. And there are times where, you know, you'll get really good feedback, but it humbles you as well, because there'll be times where, you know, your head will get really big because I've done really good on a project or something. But you need to sort of just have a balance, and I think that's what I've been taught up until now
Through Manav Dharam.
that through Manav Dharam, that you need to have a balance with all walks of life.
Great, awesome. I mean, Sohini, would you agree with that or disagree?
No, 100%. I agree. I feel like it does ground you. For me, it helps put life into perspective.
Yeah.
And it makes you, you know, like, we all do things that we might regret, or we'll, like, you know, wake up the next day and think, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Why did I do this and why did I do that? Or but I feel like it's done. You can't go back, but you can learn from it. And I feel that like, I 100% agree with what Chandni says. It's just it grounds you, it humbles you. It balances you as well.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it definitely helps balance life, and
Okay, great. I guess we're talking about the spiritual journey here. So it's quite an important question here. What's more important, the journey or the destination?
I feel for me personally, I think it's, you know, everyone wants to get to a destination, but it's your journey that is so important. You know, and it's your journey, what you do, how you do it, how you react to things. It all leads to how fast you may progress.
Sure.
But then like there's that saying that the turtle always wins the race.
Yep.
And I feel that sometimes we're chasing that destination, but because we're chasing it, we're not getting there because we're not disciplining ourselves, or we're not, you know, practicing the right way. And so I feel that sometimes, like, it doesn't matter how slow you're going, and don't let anyone around you make you feel that
It's not good
I'm
enough.
not, that you're not progressing. And don't compare. I feel that initially in my spiritual journey, I would compare my journey to somebody else's, and that set me back because I was constantly comparing myself to other people. But just don't compare. For me, I've learned not to compare on anything, not just my spiritual journey, but just in life in general. and go at your pace. And there's no right or wrong way of doing things.
Yeah.
Just so long as you're content with your journey, that's all that should matter.
Agreed. And I think you made a good point earlier about coming back to yourself, coming back to your core, your center.
Yeah.
I think that's quite an important point, because like you say, if you're comparing against someone, you're not actually looking at yourself. It's almost like you need to put that mirror up against yourself and say, okay, how am I progressing? Almost.
And also being selfish with it as well.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. You can't if you're constantly looking at somebody else or helping the needs of, I know that, you know, we're supposed to help others
definitely.
and stuff, but you can only help them if you're fulfilled in some form of way. So I feel that like sometimes you just have to be selfish in life because you're the only one that can get you to that destination. We've got Maharaj and we've got Manav Dharam, and we have Baijis and we have Vibhuji. We hear a lot of satsang and a lot of guidance, but at the end of the day, we need to get ourselves there. And so to do that, we do have to be selfish to some degree.
Yeah. And take that first step, isn't it, almost?
Yeah.
I guess a good one thought I had was just, how is your sort of spiritual journey? Is that different to life's journey from your perspective, Chandni?
I think over the last year, they've sort of intertwined almost because, you know, as I said, like, spirituality was not a thing to me 2 years ago.
Sure.
You know, and I think, you know, in this day and age now, it's becoming a lot more popular almost. You know, people are more inclined to understanding spirituality. And the thing is, like, I think until I learnt about it, I didn't even think about what would happen, you know, towards the end of my life, or I hadn't even thought about that. I just thought, oh yeah, I need to work. I you know, I want to get married. I want to have kids. You know, I want to retire, go on holiday. And then, but there is more to life than just that, than living your life, and that's where this spiritual journey has come into play, because, you know, your actions have consequences, and when you really think about it, you know, it's like a pendulum almost. You know, it swings one way, swings the other way, and so there's always you know, a reaction to an action that you do. So it's about thinking and understanding, you know, how your actions cause a reaction, and, you know, just working with that, really.
I mean, Sohini, on your perspective, life's journey, spiritual journey, intertwined or very, very different?
No, 100% agree with Chandni there. Like, it's got to be intertwined for it to work. You can't separate your spiritual journey from anything else, because it becomes part of who you are.
Hand in hand,
you can't. So yeah, definitely agree.
I guess, what would you say to someone who is, say, looking for something, or looking to get involved in some sort of spiritual journey, or looking for to start their spiritual journey? What would you be advising someone?
I'd advise anyone to listen, and listen to. I think just read. I think with like scriptures and stuff, there's so much information in there. Listen, but then also, read and then also understand what you're reading. Start there, because it's so important to understand history, because there's so much information about spirituality in that I feel, and it's common across all scriptures, not just Indian scriptures or Islamic text, or, you know, the Bible. They're all intertwined. Like they all share the same message. So maybe start there, and then seek a guruji, because
so a teacher,
because it's so true. Like we're in the habit of you know, like going to a temple or a church, or it's become such common practice that you sit there and you pray to God, and 100% believe that it's a really good foundation to have that.
Definitely.
But then doing that simply isn't going to aid your spiritual journey. It's like we hear in like discourses, satsangs all the time, that if you go to, you know, if your parents were to put a picture of their math teacher in front of their child and say, learn math, you're not going to learn math, right? So you need to go to a living guru, a living teacher. Listen to spiritual teachers, and then maybe follow up on somebody that serves you or you can relate to. And I feel that Manav Dharam has just done that for me. It's been a natural. Like I feel quite lucky and blessed that I've not had to really search for it. It's come to me. Yeah, and so I didn't do that research, and I didn't go out there looking for it. It came to me. But I think perhaps start there and like find somebody that fits you and like answers your questions. Yeah. And if they answer your question and you can relate that back to the scriptures, then you know that you've got somebody good in the nice way. You know you've got somebody that's genuine because it makes sense. Yeah. It connects. It clicks.
Agreed. Very good. Chandni, from your perspective, anything else you'd add to that?
I think having an open mind, you know, as Sohini said, read, go out and find what it is you're after, and maybe even just, you know, actually sitting down thinking, what is it that I'm after? Is this the right path for me? But then doing your research, seeing what's out there and keeping an open mind. You know, like when I came into this, it took me, like, this was all really brand new to me. So I was a bit skeptical at first, but, you know, I kept at it. I kept an open mind. And as Sohini said, there was a light bulb moment. It kind of just clicked. Something happened and it all just made sense. And that's when you know I could relate it to my day-to-day life, implement it. And that's when you know it's right for you.
And I think you both mentioned that you need to continue. Like, you will get these setbacks, but you need to continue on that process. So, like, how do you mentally make sure you're strong enough to cope with that? You do get these setbacks in your spiritual journey.
Do you go first?
I think you kind of get taught these moments, like, you know, through meditation. I think that helps me manage my emotions heavily. So that in itself keeps me going. It only is beneficial to you. It only helps you. So it's in your benefit to continue. And the more you do it, the more you will understand that. So, you know, again, you'll see the benefits the more you do it.
So any other little tips on that sense?
Yeah, I agree with Chandni there. Like, meditation definitely helps. But I think sometimes when you're not in that frame of mind to sit in meditation because of whatever may be going around, for me, it's just a bit of detachment from everything and just, you know, taking a step back. For me, and I've said this a few times, like reflecting helps me. Just detach, reflect, and then I feel that when I'm like in that right frame of mind, then I'm better to progress
further.
So
it's almost like stopping yourself, resetting, and saying recharge yourself and come back and go fire.
100%. And just going back to the basics of reading scripts, reading books, reminding myself. Probably
reminding yourself why you started your spiritual journey in the first place, right? I guess.
Yeah, it's like more not. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But then also reminding myself of what I've been through and where I've come and how far I've come. Yeah. It's so easy to forget how far you've come because you feel that you've made no progress. Yeah. Sometimes you do feel like that. Yeah. But it's but you have.
Is key, right?
You have, and you just have to look back on life and think, actually, no, I've come a long way. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both for joining me today on this Modern Day Spirituality podcast. It's been great to hear your thoughts on the spiritual journey and where you guys have come to date. So thank you for joining today. And as you've all heard today, there's many different ways in which the spiritual journey is continuing for many different people in this world. As we've heard here from two different people, one new into Manav Dharam and another who's been here for a while, there's lots of different ways in which we can continue to progress. So thank you for joining us, and we'll continue to shower you with thoughts on the Modern Day Spirituality podcast. Join us next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 12:30 p.m. British Summer Time, and 7:30 a.m. US Eastern Time for the next episode of the Modern Day Spirituality Podcast. And if you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. See you next Wednesday.